Hey, horror fans, welcome back to Jay vs. Horror and another episode of Hardcore Horror Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the 2010 film Dream Home. Guys, this is one of the most underrated slashers of all time. I don't think anybody has seen it outside of just two or three people I know, and it's an excellent film. So let's dive into it a little bit. Dream Home is a 2010 Hong Kong slasher directed and co-written by Peng Ho Shong. The film is the story of Sheng Lai Shong, played by Josie Ho, who saves up the money to buy her dream home. And then after she has saved up the money, the sellers raise the rates and turn her down, and she goes into a murderous frenzy. Now, that probably doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but this movie is excellent. Trust me. Very few slasher movies have something to say about society, and Dream Home is basically a satirical slasher film that, we have all these great slasher scenes, all these great kills, but at the same time, it's telling us a story about society and about class and all these things, and it works. Uh, it works even on an American level. It's basically like holding up a mirror, uh, and looking. They're talking about Hong Kong, but everything they say in this movie reminds you of America. The things that people go through. The movie opens with a bang. I mean, the opening scene is amazing. Like, there's a security guard, and he's sitting there looking at his cameras, and he's not really paying attention. He's kind of messing around, and so she slips in behind him, and she takes this zip tie and puts it around his head. And before he even realizes what's going on, she puts it around his head and just pulls it as tight as she can around his neck. And it's just a harrowing scene where we watch this guy fight and struggle and die. I mean, once she does that, once she pulls that zip tie, it's over. There's nothing you can do. You can't. There's no getting it off your neck. If you don't have a knife, you're not going to be able to get through that plastic. And even if you did, you'd probably just end up cutting your own throat trying to get it off, right? So yeah, I mean, it's something I have not seen in other films, and it was impactful from the very beginning. The movie is about this woman, Shang Lai Shuang, and she's kind of at the end of her rope, and she's a little nutty too. Kind of like the girl from Audition, where something's not right pretty early on with her. We see that when she was a kid, her and her family got evicted from some low-income housing, and then she vowed that someday she would have a great job and she was going to take care of them and buy them a nice new home. And she's obsessed with getting property that's on or near the Victorian Harbor so she can see the ocean. That's like her big dream, is to have this really nice flat next to the harbor. And so we go from here, and the movie is in mixed chronological order. We see some of the past, and we see some of what's happening while she's on this rampage, right? And we see that her mother passes away before she's able to buy this house for them, and that affects her a great deal. And now she's kind of stuck with her father, who is tremendously sick. And then she finds out that there was an oversight in his insurance, and now she is not able to, get the insurance to pay for his medical treatment anymore. That's super expensive. She has a good job, but it's not the job that she needs to get her dream home, right? She's taking care of her father. The next thing we see happen is the bank. They offer her like a 70% mortgage, which means that they're only even willing to pay for, to take on 70% of the total payment for the flat. So she's got to come up with like $15,000 a month just to get in this place. It's super swanky. She's not deterred though. She keeps working hard, and there's a scene with her father that's pretty impactful. I mean, we see this woman just like most Americans. She's working two jobs. She's doing everything she can do to try to make this work. And then all of a sudden she finally does save up the money, and all of a sudden there's a hike in the stock market, and the people who own the property decide they're going to raise the rates. And so when she goes to get her place, she finds out that she's been turned down. That it's impossible for her to afford it now. So it's a pretty simple story from there, guys. Her plan is, I'm going to go to this building and murder a bunch of people that live there and a bunch of people that work there. And of course, the people that own it will then have to drop the price of the property. I know it sounds silly, but it also sounds logical. Like that might work. And so she goes on this crazy murder spree, guys. You're gonna see some awesome kill scenes in this movie that you have never seen before in anything. Great slasher film, and I can't recommend it enough. And I think even at the end here, the last scene, I'm not gonna give it away. It's not really a twist, but I just think it's more impactful if you see it yourself. I think even this last scene here, it just so reminded me of the situation we had here in America uh, between 2008 and 2012, around that era where everybody was losing their jobs, the housing market went under, uh, all these bad things happened that led to a recession. It was basically people who were in charge of finances being irresponsible, giving loans to people who they knew couldn't pay the loans back just so they could get the commission off the loan and stuff like that. And so this movie is very similar to, like, you could totally see this happening in the United States. I'm surprised it hasn't been remade yet. So the movie's 96 minutes. It's not that long, compared to some of these Asian films that are like 2.5 hours long. It's just a great slasher, guys, and like I said, I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, I would give this like 8.5 out of 10. Great film. So go check it out. That's Dream Home from 2010, guys. And that's all we got for this time. Now, the next time, I'm going to be on here in a little bit. I've watched several movies in the last couple weeks, and I haven't done one of these in a while. So I have a bunch of movies lined up to talk about. The next movie we're going to talk about is a super weird, gory film, and it's called Subconscious Cruelty. It's from 2000, I believe, and it's a straight up crazy fucking movie, guys. That's about the best way I can describe it, and we'll be talking about that the next time we got something worth talking about. Bye, guys.